Hey everyone, we're back for another week's painting with beautiful little Liam here. So this week we're on to actually painting the baby, which is really exciting, and I know you're all very excited about it. So some of the first processes I do are what I call a wash, and it's just where we're starting to bring up a colour of that reborn baby to start with. I just call it like a kickstart type of wash, just to get us started and making the baby look really cool. It's always nice when you start a baby and right from the beginning you're seeing a difference. I think it's really important. Now, throughout the videos you will see at times pictures pop up on screen. Now those little pictures are pictures of my grandbaby Amani, most of you who already know this little guy. Now he is about 15 months old now and has obviously the features of a baby toddler. So actually people have said that little Liam here actually looks like Amani. I don't see it, but if you see it, pop in some comments down below. Anyway, as we're doing the videos, from time to time, I'll pop up on screen pictures of Amani's skin. Now, before we get to painting, I wanted to tell you that, all babies' skin is different. Depending on colours of their skin or feelings of the day, the weather, if it's too cold, if it's too hot, if they're unwell. So I don't believe that there is any right or wrong way to make the skin. A lot of people will say, oh, no, that, a toddler can't have too much mottling because they don't tend to have as much mottling as they did when they were babies. But that's untrue. I've had days where Amani has been covered in mottle, and I should have taken pictures on those days, I tell you what. Maybe I will throughout this series get some more. But there's also days where you will not see a mottle on him, and it will be the most perfect peaches and cream, or not even that. I don't even know what you call that colour, but it's just a creamy white, ivory skin that has no, hardly any details in it. It's just pristine, as you might have seen from that little picture before. So, when you're coming to make your toddler baby, you really need to think of how you want it to look. Do you want your toddler to have a lot of mottling? Do you want it to have no mottling at all? Or would you like it just to have some mottling in some key aspects of its body? So just remember that as you're working with me, do what you want. It doesn't have to be exactly how I'm doing mine, okay? With my baby, I'm going to tend to go with a little bit of both. But mainly I'm doing that clear, gentle, very gentle mottling, which doesn't actually look like mottling. It tends to just look like the detailing under the skin, the blood flowing through the baby underneath the skin and things like that. And then in some key areas, I'll pop in some mottling. Also because they're toddlers, they rough it up a lot. They might have scratches here and there or a little bruise or something. You'll see a picture I'm just about to show here of a little bruise that Amani had at the time I took that picture. Now, so, babies can have anything. So, let's get to painting. And, let's all work together to make something that's going to be perfect for you. Just you, basically. So let's get to it. So, biggest apologies if you thought that was really long-winded. Sometimes I can do that. I'm so sorry. But, you had to be told. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it right. Anyway, so let's get started. So I'm using Magical Realism paints, as I have told you before. This is the Magical Realism instruction booklet, that when you get Magical Realism paints, you get this instruction booklet. So we are actually going to be doing this tutorial following the instructions here. So if you already have Magical Realism paints, we're going to follow it like I said. But of course, throughout the aspects of the video, I'll pop in something that I think, would make it a little bit more toddler-based skin. One thing is right, although I said before, there's no right way, you do find babies to be a little bit more reddy, purplish, pinky, sort of colours, if you know what I mean. It sort of tends to smooth and even out as they get older. So you can follow this book to a T. It's fine. You can do it on a newborn. You can do it on a toddler. Like I said, we're just going to trick it up a little bit as we go. So if you've got this booklet, that's what I'm going to go for. So the first part of the painting is going to be my red or pink wash. So for that, we're going to use red. Now that is empty. Thank you, Lisa. I know you put that upside down for a reason. So, and she popped this in for me. So I was using a 30ml set, but I used that red up. So anyway, here I've just got your general palette. This is just like your palette that you can, I think you see them at all of the dollars and cents shops. I do sell them at Aussie Reborn Supplies, so if you can't get them there, we generally always have them available, and they come in starter kits when you're buying starter kits. And here I've just got, these are really cool actually. If you haven't seen these, you can get them on eBay. It's actually got a little palette in it, but because I'm following a certain aspect, size, that type of thing, I'm using that palette. But then in here you've got your water. You can clean your brushes, and you can put your brushes up on the side to sit there. So I've just got that like that there, which I think is so cool. A definite part of your Reborn toolbox for sure. Now we also need a thinning medium. Do I have a thinning medium up here? I better. Sometimes I move things. I'm a bit rough like that. So now don't forget, if you're using heat set paints, you will still be able to follow it along exactly how I'm doing here. So don't think, oh my God, I can't do it, and it's doing it a different way. That's not right. I'm kind of doing it both ways. So all you need for magical realism is one drop. One drop, that's all. How far is this paint going to go? Now I will tell you that red, I think I popped that into a smaller bottle, so that's why it went so far so quickly. And then with the thinning medium, we're going to use 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. Get a brush. I've got all my brushes here in 2 little cases here like that. And I reuse them all the time. So obviously for me, I'll be looking for a brush that has been used with a lot of reds, and I'll also be using a blending brush. So there's your blending brush, and there is my brush that's been used with red. I'll just give that a little mix, and then we get just finding one that's clear. All my pipettes. So then with the pipette, we just get some water. You can use still water out of a bottle. You can use it from your tap as well, but make sure everything's clean. So we fill up that little paint well with water, just like that. Now, do I have a paper towel here? I normally do, but sometimes I move them because, you know, why not? But I'll just use the mat on the table. Now let me tell you, this mat on the table is a disposable change mat, which is perfect for painting with, mainly because it's got these cute little images, baby images all over it, and then you just throw it away after it gets too messy. I also use the puppy pads, which some people go, oh my God, they're just puppy pads, but my God, they are perfect for painting. I've got pink ones in stock at Aussie Reborn Supplies, which is super, super cute. So as we're going, I really should get a testing limb. Now having a testing limb just helps you in the whole process, so you know that you're getting the paint right before you put it onto something so expensive like a Liam kit. So what I would do is, just after you've mixed that paint, oh, also our heat setters. Just with this process, I would like you to use Genesis Red and of course your odorless solvent. So odorless solvent, Genesis Red. So with the Genesis Red, I'll get you just to get a brush something like this size and literally just wipe it over your red like a swipe, like that, and you'll put it in your little mixing palette, and then fill up the rest of that area with your odorless solvent. Mix and then do the same as I'm going to do here pretty much. Okay. So I hope that music in the background isn't too much. My husband is playing some music. So just paint on the test kit straight up and blend it in with the brush. And for me, that is perfect. Now, let me just tell you, this process is a blush. It's very light. It's going to give a light pink hue to your whole kit. It won't be anything blah. It'll just be a nice light thing. So also, if you don't have a test limb, just use it on either some paper towel or your mat that you've got in front of you, and try to look for a color that is translucent, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm completely happy with that, so I'm going to start and put it onto my head. The head is always what I start with, guys, and one of the main reasons is, again, I don't just go ahead doing what I think is right. I really make sure things are right first. So I work starting from the back of the head. Starting from the back of the head means if I really do think it's too much, I've got time to correct it. So again, we're just going to paint it on, like literally like this. I probably should have used a bigger brush, but this is still going to work fine. So as you can see, it's on there. It's kind of a little bit all over the place, but this blending brush is going to blend it nicely into the skin. Perfect. So I'll bring that over and show you. Okay, so you should be able to see just there that in this area here is just a nice soft pink hue. It's not full on, okay? So you can tell from the other side that just is like the plain color of the kit, and that's got a little pink hue. Now, may I also remind you to make sure your hands are nice and clean before you start. Give your hands a regular hand wash and just take off any excess chemicals. You know, for all I know, you had KFC for lunch, which this baby will not like, okay? So just make sure your hands are clean after at the beginning of every process of your painting. Now, another thing is when you're working with heat set paints, if you're working with heat set paints, I do still do the same thing. I brush it on, but I've found the blending brush works great with your air dry paints, but with your heat set paints, the best thing is a cosmetic wedge. Get your cosmetic wedge and just rip off the end. You've seen me do this 1,000 times until you're given that sort of little textured edge. So you will paint your paint onto the kit and then just pounce it over the whole area, and that will blend it really nicely. You'll love it. Of course, at the end of your process of painting with heat set paint, you'll be putting it in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes to bake, and then you'll let it sit and cool before you go to the next layer. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to just do the painting process. There's pretty much nothing more for me to say what to do with this process other than what I'm about to do. So I'm going to speed it up so you can watch me get through that process. Let's go. I should also state that as you're going, this is going over the whole entire kit. You can even go over the mouth, in the mouth, but just make sure it's well blended. We do not want any pooling of any liquid. And as you're going, of course, this blending brush is going to get wet because it's picking up the excess fluid. So just every now and again, you'll see me pat or swipe onto my paper towel, and that just dries this and keeps it going for me. Okay, so we finished the first layer of paint. Congratulations, you've done so well. Like I said, you'll only notice a really soft hue of red, and you can notice it between when you look at the actual kit that we've painted, and this side here you'll see it is a different color already. A lot of the times as we're painting through, you don't see the process you're doing, but I guarantee you will be making a difference. So some questions you might have for me after this first painting process is, number one, all of my pieces are laying flat onto the table. Now this is really because generally we don't have like painting drying stands big enough to hold a toddler. So I've got some bigger ones downstairs, but just for the general sake of this class, I didn't need to use them. I always find, say when I'm painting, I've obviously done the hands first. So by the time I get to the end and I put the hand down and then the end, I just feel if you put it down gently enough, it'll be fine. It won't do anything. So that's where we're going there. And you'll also notice that towards the end, my last leg, I was on my last leg. Get it? Anyway, I had to make another painting, another paint set, another red set up because I ran out. That's terrible, isn't it? So I'm just going to wash my brush now. Now, as you may have noticed on other classes that I do, I don't wash my brush crazy. I just rinse it out, dry it on my paper, and then leave it to dry. Generally because I will only use this brush from now on, and from before that, I'll only use it on red. So generally when you have paint brushes, I say one for each color, and that includes with the blending brushes, you'll need one for each color. Now they obviously are, expensive to begin with. Sometimes not, depending on the quality that you're buying. But they last for ages and ages and ages before you generally have to refresh. Even these blending brushes, I mean, they go the distance. Even they're doing a lot of hard work, a lot of pouncing, a lot of excess rubbing when I'm getting off the excess water and things like that. So they go the mile. So, buy the proper items to begin with. So this one, obviously still a bit damp, so I'll just leave that sit there to dry. I've got a few extra red ones if I do want to use them for other parts that are coming up. So now, after air dry paint, you generally leave the kit sit for about 20 or 30 minutes. That whole process, even though I sped it up, took 28 minutes. So that was 28 minutes to put that first layer on. So you could imagine the first part is dry. I can literally start painting the head with the next color straight away if I like, or I can go off and have a wander to the shop and come back later. It doesn't really matter. One thing I do as I'm going along is I always clean up my paint palette. And most people have paper towels, but on my shelf I have tissues and baby wipes. Alcohol wipes are really good as well to clean. So I think you just clean your paint palette as you're going, especially with air dry. It dries on there, and then over time it'll just build up. So I could leave that red color there. I think not the next layer, the layer after, I'm going to use red. But as you can see, I only used one drop of red. So for me, it's not going to critically kill me financially if I have to use another one, because it's only one dot. So I've got baby wipes here. It's just some water wipes, and I'm just going to clean out that area. I like it to be nice and clean. I feel better. I feel better. So there we go. We're all ready for our next layer. So let's go to that now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is do another wash. Now this is going to be the last layer we're going to work on during this class. So a nice easy one, just 2 washes for this class. So let's get going. This is a nice blue teal wash. If you don't have anything like this, like I'm actually using a vein blue here, but if you don't have a vein blue, you can just use a general blue. I just like to go with this one next. So let's get going, shall we? So again, it's really, really easy, just like it was when we were working on the, the pink red wash. So I'm using Magical Realism Vein Blue, and again, it's just 1 drop. Oh, that was like a little bit of a quick drop, so I just added a tiny bit more. And then the 3 drops of thinning medium. And then get a blue brush. This time I'm going to use a bigger brush, because before I used that little one and it really needed a bigger surface. It would have actually probably worked the whole process quicker, if you know what I mean. So just give that a light mix. And then add in our water. So again, I'm filling the water well with water. But I think generally if I looked at my Magical Realism class, let me think, I think it's 4 ml of water. Better just check so I'm telling you the right thing. So 1 drop of the vein, 3 drops of the thinning medium, and 4 ml water. Now, again, like I always say, you can sort of turn this around to be more yours. So if you do want to go a little bit darker, you can, or if you need to lighten it up. As you can imagine, not all paint palettes have the same size wells, as we saw in this little lid I have for my water bucket. The wells are probably about half the size, so you can't go by that exactly. If you were going by just measurements of a painting well, then your paint might turn out to be a bit dark. As you can see maybe there, I don't know how well you can see that. Get that arm out of the way. It's just a nice, soft, translucent blue there. And again, I'll sort of, yep, it's very translucent. So I can put it onto the testing limb and see how I like it. Okay, now I'm actually finding there's not much in that. So I'm thinking I'm going to add another drop of blue. As I say, if you're not a blue person, don't go for it. But I think with this guy, I want to do the 2 drops. We'll just see how it goes. I can always start my whole painting well again if I don't like it. I mean, wasting 2 drops. What an absolute terrible thing that would be. So I'll just add a couple more thinning medium with that. Just add 2 more in there. The thinning medium just sort of helps, I believe, everything bind and secure. Okay, now that's a little bit better in my eyes. Let me just check. Yes, I like that more. Yes, I like that more. So even so, I'm saying I like that more. It's still just a really, really fine look. So it's not going to be very much. I had people who have attended my classes here at Aussie Reborn Supplies, and they're like, I just can't see it. And I like it when they say that. They probably don't like it. But the fact is, it's all a gradual process. If you could really, really see it, the problem with many paints is over time they strengthen and they come out. You'll go away and the next day you're like, oh my God, I didn't know it was that blue yesterday. Well, it wasn't. It just cured and sort of came to life. So that's why I like to say less is more. I mean, if you were to do, these are only washes just to get us on a kickstart of a base. But if you came back and you said, I really can't see it, and I really want to see the blue, then you could do another layer of blue. That's the beauty of this. You can move it round to your likings. So I'm going to go straight ahead and just start painting it on the entire kit. This is exactly what we did with the pink wash. So I'm going to speed this up and let's get going. Okay, so that journey that you just watched all sped up took me 21 minutes. So just wanting to remind everyone that that bigger flathead brush did make the world of difference, as in time. And also I'm completely out of paint now. So I didn't have to make that extra one. It was really, really tight towards the end, but I think because with the smaller brush, the paint's starting to dry and just the whole concept, I think it made me use a teeny bit more paint. So this was definitely the way to go. In the end, I did dip my brush in a tip of water just to give it the extra boost to go the extra mile, and it did, and that was fine. So yeah, tip the bigger flathead brush is the better way to go. Hopefully you weren't exactly painting along with me and you can do that and save my mistake. So that was good. So that concludes our, painting for this step 2. So recap, step 2, we did the red wash and the blue wash. So that's really, really exciting. And now you should see a difference. Not exactly a big difference, but again, between the two pieces, the piece I've painted, you'll see it's like a bit darker and this is still a little bit more yellowy. So there is a difference. It's very, very slight. But you can't rush these things. And if you want to rush it, then you're not watching the right tutorial, unfortunately. So next week we're going to go on to creases. We'll probably be at creases for maybe the whole episode. I might have to rush it up. Yeah, no, we're at creases and then we've got some blue and yellow features. So I may do the creases, show you how to do it, and then sort of speed it up and then do the blue and then the yellow features. So we'll try to do all 3 of those steps on our next video next week. So that's really, really exciting. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please post a comment below. I will try to get back to you as quick as I can. If I don't, if any of you guys know the answer, you're more than willing to, comment and reply to what the question was. I think that's all we need for this week. Yeah, we're doing good. You're going really, really well. Okay, guys, have a great week. And, you can either wait the week to watch next step video, or If you're watching this in the future, you can just go straight on and click the next button and start watching it now. Okay guys, happy reborning.